But this is the Foundation for Climate Restoration, and this is our weekly community gathering, our weekly community call. And we are making a point now, at least once a month, we're having a special guest, a special presentation. We call it part of the Founders Series, which is named for, with great respect and admiration for our founders, one of whom just came on board, Peter Fikowski. Thank you. But we have to count Carol Douglas in here, who's one of the founders and also co-author of the book about climate restoration with Peter. So we have special guests tonight. And before we introduce our special guests, I just want to review with each of you what our intention of these meetings is. And let's see, if we have Bob Fisher on yet.
Yep, he's on.
Oh, great, Bob. If you have a slide for us on that, I'll be happy to report that. Carolyn Flood, you're always so great at recreating for us what's on these slides here. Would you like to present to us what the intention for the meeting is once we have that slide up here?
I have it written in front of me, though.
Well, you're even.
You know me, Mark. I printed it out.
Okay, well.
Just do it now.
Okay, yeah. Great.
I'll wait for the slide.
So, for the people that aren't familiar and those that are, our intention for each of these community calls is that each and every call sparks for each and every one of us new thinking, new enthusiasm, and new openings for shifting the global mindset to restore the climate.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you. And we have a very, very distinct mission and vision for the Foundation for Climate Restoration. And Julia, would you like to create for us what that mission and vision is so everybody here on the call really gets?
I'm going to pass it back. I'm going to pass it back to Carolyn because I have it in front of me. And Carolyn does. Go for it.
I do.
I know you do.
Okay. Our vision and mission. Our vision is the climate restored by 2050. Our mission is to generate the global alignment for climate restoration by 2030, such that climate restoration is on the global agenda. Climate restoration means restoring the climate to one humans have evolved and thrived in, with CO2 levels below 300 parts per million.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. I think our guests today have some wonderful things to illuminate about that and going in that direction. Julia, do you want to introduce?
Definitely, I do. Okay. I've had the honor of meeting Hugo and Jen in person several times. And, you know, I meet a lot of impressive people, but rarely do I run into two not only impressive, but dedicated people as Hugo and Jen, who are also working on the same project. You all who registered read their bio, but I'm just going to read you just a couple of sentences about Dr. Jen Bonella first. She has extensive experience in the biotech industry. A couple of years ago, she talked to me about the interface between research and commercializing these projects. And she brings all that knowledge to what you're about to hear about. And Hugo, I've never been out on a boat with him. He's the CEO and founder of Positive Polar, and he has an extensive background as a freight captain and a polar helicopter pilot and sailor and entrepreneur. And now you're going to hear from them. I'm not going to say anything further. It's for them to share with us.
Thank you, Julia, for that kind introduction. And Hugo is pulling up our slides. So hopefully, yeah, full screen. Okay, excellent. So I'm going to assume everyone can see them and we'll get started. Thank you for the kind introduction. Yes, I'm Dr. Jen Bonilla. This is Captain Hugo Hendrickson. We're the founders of Positive Polar. We have a team behind us, and we have many other advisors and supporters, many of whom are on this call, and we're really grateful to all of you so much. We'll get into the company and really look forward to your questions. So let's get to the next slide. And I want to share something that's really at the heart of the vision for this company. And also just something I find just incredible, really. And that is really to think about how long we have thought about whales. And as you can see from this adapted quote, um, it's been a long time that people have recognized that whales are probably very, very important to the ocean. They're more than just charismatic creatures. We've long suspected that, but we know that for sure now. The science is really fairly recent, but clearer and clearer that whales do more than just swim around looking great. They're essential. They're an essential part of that ecosystem. They're essential to sustaining marine life and even play a very important role in controlling the climate via their impact on the ocean. But there remains a deficit of whales in the sea. They take a long time to recover. We removed so many so fast during the time of industrial whaling, which didn't end until the 80s, and in some countries it does continue. But there are 70% fewer whales overall than we should have that if there had not been industrial whaling. And that has real impacts on the ocean. And that's what causes a real imbalance. And that's a place where Positive Polar starts. It's not the end of our story, but it's where we start when we think about potential solutions to our climate situation. And I will turn it over. Oh, next few slides. Thank you, Julie already introduced me. I have a long time career in biotechnology. I continue to support the translation of research, complex research. In this case, I work for Moffitt Cancer Center here in Florida, and I make internal investments and decisions about which of that research can actually become a product that helps people with cancer around the world. I love working with really smart people and helping bring those ideas and that great science to actually make an impact. And that's what I hope to be bringing here via Positive Polar. Hugo.
Yeah, thank you, Jen. Well, also, Julia, thank you for the introduction. Yes, I have been sailing around more than 25 years. Also, I did operate in Africa with NATO forces, but I spent most of my time with sailing and flying around Antarctica and Patagonia, and that did allow me to see with my own eyes what was happening, how the environment did change dramatically, and how my child couldn't enjoy the winter as I did because I did grow also in Patagonia. The lagoons didn't froze anymore. My child did have to spend most of his time inside the house during the winter because it was raining all of the time, and I was, as you are seeing in the picture, always playing outside. So that was really what opened my eyes and to do something about it, my child. And then because of my career, I was the in charge of the rescue helicopter station that is in Cape Horn, in Port Williams. It's in charge of Antarctica and Cape Horn, and that did allow me to because of a rescue that we did in the year 2008 to know these passengers that they were going around and to start thinking on a problem that we were trying to solve. So because me as a sailor have recognized that sadly the offshore ships right now are considered ocean polluters. That's the problem. That they are an icon of pollution, and we want to change that. And also people, as you know, feel powerless. The environment is getting hotter. So we are going to solve this problem, taking this opportunity because right now more than 30,000 passengers already sailing around, as I said, are trying to do something of what is called citizen science. A lot of travelers want to also travel more sustainably. And there's also some people that don't even think in going to cruises because they are an icon of ocean pollution. But we can
What?
change that. We can change that,
Yeah,
bringing the
yeah,
passengers
better than the other bean
closer
soup you made.
to the
You made
whale-inspired
this one the way you wanted.
technology. There's someone
This is
with
a
the
real
microphone.
bean soup.
Please
Yeah.
mute yourselves, everybody.
Yeah.
We have the possibility of transform travel shame into travel pride. That is our core concept. And we are going to scale these technologies that we are going to explain to you by phases and using the platforms that are already there, the cruise lines, to partner with them and have a decisive impact. We are in the phase one, that is, we are going to establish programs on board that we are going to describe. We are going to start collecting the data, have the public engagement, as I said, and Jen will explain how we are moving forward with the proof of concept. Then we are going to have our own ship because we need to test these prototypes, this technology on board. Then we are going to, the same ones that help us in the phase one will also be the first ones to use these brand new technologies, so they will have an improved financial performance, the same partners that we have in phase one. And then in phase four, we are going to license this to all of the world to finally create the impact that we expect to have. So what are those programs? These programs are four main programs that we are going to start applying into the cruise lines. What is called the whale protector, very Navy style, where passengers are going to be able to test their seamanship skills. Who is the first one to see the first whale, identify the whale, and also hearing the whales with hydrophones. A passenger will be able to hear the whales, understand them. We are going to develop a product about that. There's also a program related with scientists that we need specialized ships for that. Some expedition cruise ships has labs. So we are going to, with drones, take the sample of the snots of the whales and analyze that into the lab to see if the whales are stressed, to see if the whales are pregnant or not. So we are going to start mapping not only how much whales are there, how are they also, how they feel. And also we are going to start also taking samples of the water column to establish our baseline of our impact. We're going to also have programs related with art, photography, and painting, where people will be teach how to take good photographies, how to paint about the sea, so they can take their own memories back. And we are going to explain to the passengers how this is really going to happen. Transform the organic waste from ships into artificial whale feces, as I will going to explain. So Positive Polar is a maritime technology development corporation, and this only our first product is whale memory reactor, but then we are going to have more products to transform the ships, instead of an icon of ocean polluter, as an icon of ocean restorers. That is our mission. And our first product is what was called the whale barometric reactor, where what we are going to do is transform that organic waste that is being already dropped into the sea, into the sea. The ships just macerate the waste and then drop it. So we are going to transform that is already happening into engineered nanoparticles that will be explained later. So that these engineered nanoparticles will biomimic a natural process as the whale feces. Because the ships are already doing this. This is very important. We are not adding something additional here. We are just transforming something that is already happening. So we can position this technology into what is called the circular economic sphere, because it's something that is already happening. And we were also trying to take advantage of what is called the brown water, the human feces, right? And so we can, as I said, biomimic the natural process. So as Jen was explaining, the whales did really have a very important function into the ocean. But because of the whaling era, we did broke that what is called the whale pump. So what is the proposal reparation that we have? The ships. Are the ships able to replace that at the beginning? Meanwhile, we fill that gap. That is that is what we are going to do. And if we are, or when we are going to be successful, it's very impressive because we have more than 110,000 ships going around. So one ship sailing offshore only 240 days using this technique with the present calculation will be able to sink 2,000 of metric tons of CO2 per year. So if we scale this with just one third of the merchant fleet, we will be able, even having the present injection of CO2, we will be able to finally restore the environment because we are going to get rid of that excess of CO2. And this is fully compatible with the approximation that, for example, Peter Frykowski is trying to develop right now, because we are going to work in how efficient we can be and how many platforms we can use. So this is complementary to some other approaches. So those 50 years could be less if all we are successful. The approach that is Peter doing and our approach. That's very important to say. So it could be less. So we are going to bring to our the passengers life-changing experiences. So they will turn into ocean restoration ambassadors through experience. These are some pictures that we take with Jen traveling. We met in Antarctica. We have a lot of pictures of there. But now we are going to show you some experiences that we did have in Svalbard and Dominica, that they are very nice to see, so that you can feel how close you can get into the whales. I was there, for example, just filming a seal. We are in the middle of a fjord, enjoying the place. We are in Svalbard there, and I was thinking that was the only thing that I was going to see, but then something happened, as you will see.
The whales here.
Uh-huh.
Right up in the air.
Wow.
It's amazing how the whales really want to connect with you. They want to see you. If you go to our website, you can see the picture there. It's a picture that I did take. Literally, the minke whale was trying to pop up and make contact, eye contact with us. Here is another experience that we have in Dominica, when we were swimming with a sperm whale. So it's not only about polar environments. We can also enjoy the whales into more warm places. This was really magical. The whale is again trying to establish contact with us fully. They are in their environment, so we are almost nothing to them. She can do whatever she wants with us, but she just wants to connect, and we were very grateful about this experience.
No, no, what? Okay.
That's it. Jen, do you want to continue with the phases of the program?
Yeah, I'll say just a few words. We're at the very early stage here. As you can see, the proof of concept is phase 1, and that's what we'll be doing. We'll be doing that in labs. Happy to answer questions. Also happy to share the more detailed proposal with anyone who has interest in learning more about that and may have also collaborators to participate. But this is an important critical step to then identifying how we would proceed forward and, as Hugo noted, on a working ship in the future. Making sure that what we do, though, is fit for purpose is key. What we want to do is create biomimicked whale feces. We want to create a substance, a substrate that behaves in the ocean like whale poop does, specifically that it grows phytoplankton. And we'd love for that substrate to be at least partially leveraging what waste there may be on the ship. And that's the key question. There are various waste streams on ships. There's food waste, there's human waste. Um, and it currently is treated and then dumped in the ocean when you're 12 nautical miles offshore on these longer expedition trips, which is where the whales are. So, can we use any or all of those waste streams to efficiently and effectively create perhaps some whale biomimic poop that grows phytoplankton? If you could, then what you would be doing is potentially developing a way for every ship that's along the whale highways to be at least fertilizing the ocean as they're moving through the whale highways, meaning the places where whales normally would be, except as I mentioned, so many are missing, we would be replacing a gap. Very importantly, we'd be learning a lot, which I think would help about the ocean, about the effectiveness of different techniques, about different parts of the water that would help other marine CDR approaches advance as well. So we'd be just one really important piece of this bigger puzzle to how do we support the ocean in its natural processes that it already has to help solve many of the problems that we face. Go ahead.
Yeah, so as I said, we have identified the ship. Hopefully, we will find a partner soon, so we can start sailing. That will be the phase two of the programs. And our as I did show you, our passengers will really enjoy the experience having these programs, having really a nice time, and also have a possibility to even acquire art pieces because we have partnered with an incredible art and sailing around as Jen was saying, around the whale highways and feeling proud about traveling with Positive Polar. And also for the science perspective, this is very good because we are always more or less at the same time in the same areas. So we can take the samples and then take the samples 1 year later, and we can make the comparison. That is very good for the science. So we will lead. The idea is to lead as Jen was saying, the other cruise companies into not be only neutral, not to be just net zero. We want to transform all of the shipping industry into something positive for the environment. And the business model is very clear. We are going to have this partnership with cruise lines in the phase one. We are very close to close a contract right now. And then we are going to have passengers with our own ship. And we're also going to transport cargo because the ship that we are planning to have will also be able to transport cargo to isolated places, creating also a positive social impact to the people there. So we have worked more than 2 years building a network of business development managers that will help us into the booking system. We have a growing also social media platform, and thanks to invitations like you, we have also connections with groups like you that we hope that that you will be glad to travel with us in the future. We expect that very much. And we are going to also be able to sell carbon credits. We are not going to be the first ones. There's already people doing marine CDR and selling carbon credits. That's good. Maybe we are going to be the second ones, but the more scalable ones. And the license is where the real upside of this approximation is, right? Just to license this to the 1/3 of the merchant fleet could really create very good revenues. In this almost 2 years, almost 3 years, we have what is called advancing our science in technology readiness level 2. That's what we are doing. That's what Jen is doing, moving forward with the proof of concept. We have a crowdfunding site if you want to check later. And also we have an active social media campaign with more than 3,000 followers. There is some companies out there that do similar things, and they are doing good. They are doing good. As you may know, Lindblad, for example, they have what is called the citizen sciences, very advanced, and it's a very good business. It's a very good business. And also the Schmidt Ocean Institute, it has also a similar approach, but only doing for the science. But what is good about Positive Polar, that we are the only company developing new restoration technologies to transform the ships into ocean restorers, and also what is called regenerative tourism at sea. So we are going to be the only ones to do that. The financial projections that we have are very good. You can check them later if you want. And as Jane was saying, the most important that we have built into these years is our team. We have people ready to start our programs, the Will Protector programs with Mete, that she's great. The lecture programs with Tim Forsman, maybe he's here, I don't know. A lot of people, maybe you know Tim Forsman. We have also Nikki, our art, but especially our marine biotech, Matt Saboka. Maybe he's in Antarctica right now. He's sailing in Antarctica, and he's great, and he's supporting us in everything. And also our commercial advisor, that he's a legend of the cruising, Hans, and also our financial advisor, also a legend of the cruise business, Aris. So in this almost 3 years, we have built everything to create this first maritime technology development corporation. And now we need only people like you to join us. And why Positive Polar now? Because while most phytoplankton carbon sequestration solution must address damping regulations and the challenge of delivering materials to the right locations, Positive Polar solves an existing waste management problem by using platforms that already travel there, biomimic a natural process and turning passengers into ocean restoration ambassadors through experience. So in Positive Polar, you are going to restore our ocean pole to pole. Thank you very much. I don't know how we are in time. Are we good in time? This is a little, no, I think it's not necessary.
Excellent
Okay.
on time and everything else. This is fabulous.
Perfect. Yeah, that's it. You can. Thank you very much, and we are open for questions.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah.
All right. Should we take down the slides?
Yeah, so people can see.
Okay, good. Who would like to share something or ask a question?
I see Alan there. Hi, Alan.
Hi, I'm the first one. Wow.
Yeah.
So a couple questions. So it was interesting, the last slide where it's interesting that cruise ships are allowed to dump waste, yet somebody wanting to go out into the ocean and do an OIF project or something there's a lot of resistance to that. So are you adding anything to the waste, any chemicals to the waste that the cruise ships are ejecting out, or is it just a process that changes the already existing waste into something that will create a phytoplankton reaction?
Yeah, well, that'll be one of the important questions in lab experiments. But what I anticipate is that there will be some rebalancing of so currently in the ship, they treat the food waste largely just by chopping it up and dumping it. There's very little other technique that happens. The human waste does go through a treatment and turns into this kind of sludge that's meant to ensure that it doesn't, cause harmful algae blooms. However, in fact, in the marine world, you can see it does. And so it's an understood problem in the marine world, and it is unfortunately another great example of hypocrisy in many different regulations. We don't anticipate adding more things, and certainly nothing that's not natural. So for example, as we think about the chemistry and we assay what comes out of the food, out of the waste treatment before it's dumped into the ocean, rebalance that mixture to more mimic whale feces. It may also need to be encapsulated in a nanoparticle, an engineered nanoparticle that we're working on the chemistry for, frankly, at Moffitt Cancer Center, that actually uses natural substances from the sea as part of that chemistry. For example, alginate, cheetah sand, things like that. So the idea is to not use anything that wouldn't normally be there, and have it look like have it behave like whale feces. But this is the critical work we're starting.
We are just changing the composition. That's the idea for being in the environment of waste management. That is where we want to be.
Hey,
Keep
hey,
there,
hey,
the
no,
waste
Duke,
management
oh,
area.
Duke,
Somebody
come
need,
here.
Exactly.
can we,
Don't the other way. Waste management.
can we mute Antonia? Mark, can you,
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Sorry about that. Go
okay.
ahead.
Was a doctor.
I think we have another question.
Ripudaman, tell me how to say your name first. Your hand was up. And
Call me
from
Ripu.
Okay.
what?
Just the first four letters, Ripu.
Ripu.
Ripu is easy enough, right?
Thank you.
Ripu Daman, if you want to be.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Hugo, for showing those things. Having sailed through the Svalbard, Antarctica, and the Chilean fjords, seeing those minke whales, seeing many other whales over there, they're fantastic.
Yeah,
Look
thank
forward to joining you one of these days.
you.
And Jen, you just answered my question that I had, and I was really thinking of. From the regulatory standpoint, that things may be different. You think you are not adding anything, and they may think quite differently. And my question is, have you had any contact with the regulatory agents to say that what you are doing is not dumping? I mean, is not is kind of again more than just what you are already doing?
Yeah, it's a great question. So on the one hand, informally, yes, with the head of the EPA water, EPA ocean, NSF ocean, EPA water, sorry. And those are two different people, of the intention of the research. But none of this is binding until we've actually done some lab work. And then we will work with the appropriate regulatory bodies. So this is something I'm very familiar with when you're developing medicines. We're highly regulated in what we do. And typically, when you're developing a medicine, you would have this informal conversation with regulators, make sure there's nothing advice they would give. I actually got the cell phone number for the EPA water woman. She was very fascinated by it. She's like, call me anytime you think you need some advice to stay on the right side of this. It's the key for folks. And of course, we've talked, as many of you know, Chris Vivian, who's also been helpful as well, and some others that we've gotten to know through Peter and his extensive network that have informally advised us, nothing binding, that if we stay very close to the whale biomimicry, if we stay very close to this, then they would anticipate we're going to be on safe ground. That's the most we can ask for at this point until we gather data. And then we're going to need to go and have the conversation with data in hand. And then we'll know, how close are we really to that natural substrate?
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay, Andre.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Of course, it's an extremely interesting presentation. Thank you very much for all this planning. And I would have plenty of questions, but here I have two that come to my mind here. How do you plan to measure the impact of these restoration crews that you plan? And second, how easy or how difficult and costly would be to adjust the existing cruise ships to treat their waste in a way that convert them into substance useful for phytoplankton growth?
Yes. These are excellent questions. On the first question, it's an important one. In the phase and the proof of concept, we're going to begin to approach this question. It is not satisfactory answer. It's not the end all answer, but what we need to know is when we do the comparison of the waste streams and the whale feces biochemistry, and then do the work to understand how we would bridge that gap, how far we get, how efficient is it, how cost efficient, can it be done on a ship without having to modify their waste treatment systems, but more as an adjunctive step. Something like that would be much easier than expecting a ship to rip out their waste treatment system. That'd be very expensive. Probably hard to get anyone to agree to that. But if you had an adjunctive step that was very cost efficient, it would actually be something in their interest. They have their own metrics to hit as well. But in the lab, we can start to understand, and one of the assays that will have our phytoplankton bioassays so that at least what we can do is look at the substrates that we create in the lab. How well do those grow phytoplankton relative to the actual whale feces samples? So you have to make an assumption that if we're growing phytoplankton in the lab similar to how whale feces grow phytoplankton in the lab, and we also know what it looks like in the ocean through Savoca and others' work, that you could model the impact. But then it will really be a multi-year process, as many of you know, to truly prove that we've had a meaningful impact on carbon sequestration. But the first step will be in the lab and see if we can grow phytoplankton just as the whale poop grows phytoplankton. This part is already a very well published set of data today.
Great, Andre. Great questions.
Yeah, really good questions.
Harvey.
Nailed it.
Thank you. Um, this is a very simplistic question, but so let's just call for the moment everything that ships discharge, we'll call it human poop.
Okay.
And everything that whales discharge is whale poop.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my question is kind of twofold and very simple. How do we know that the human poop is not doing a good job and the whale poop will do a better job? Is it purely theory, or do you actually have some data for this?
It's a great question. And for those who don't spend a lot of time, of course, studying poop, and that's most of us, right? You might not know that whales, their poop, if you see it in the ocean, it'll look kind of like this red oil slick at the top of the sea, and that's because it's full of iron. But human poop typically doesn't look like that because we don't have that level of iron in our poop. We're eating different things, right? So the way the whales are working in mixing nutrients is they're going down to the bottom and they're eating sometimes shells, other things, and then they're pooping up at the top of the surface. That's what you can see from the ship sometimes. Big, long slick. It's kind of reddish and it kind of floats there. This is what we have to mimic, right? And that is what's fertilizing with sunlight. It's like photosynthesis, right? It's fertilizing phytoplankton, little plants, and that eventually grow into fish. They're the base of the food web in the ocean. So it's just a priori makes sense that human poop won't act the same way as whale poop because we just don't contain the same nutrients in our poop. We eat very different things.
So this seems to tie in very much with all of Peter's work in our foundation website, that any way that you can bring iron to the iron poor phytoplankton is a good way. Do you have any comparison ideas as to whether introducing iron dust into down swelling eddies would be in comparison to
no, I have great question. Great. We're very supportive and frankly, the whole huge inspiration from Peter in his book on positive polar. But we have no data and we're very supportive that work as well continue. I think we need to continue. As you know, there's multiple groups advancing marine CDR with multiple techniques. We believe ours is going to be helpful in one particular area, as Hugo described, and potentially face some different opportunities. Yes.
Yeah, let me add something. Yes, we could be, well, as Jen is saying, we are a different approach because we are working on the composition of the nutrient, right? And trying to biomimic this as whale physicists, taking the iron that we may expel into our feces, right? So we are going to work on the composition. Peter is working on how that will work in the ocean. So this could be complementary because I can tell the ship, because the ship doesn't discharge all of the time. They discharge when they want. So if I know where the eddy is, eddies are everywhere. Okay. So if I know where the eddy is, I can tell the ship, if Peter theory is if successful, I will tell the ship, you know what? It's more efficient to drop into the eddy. So wait with little, because now we know the position of the 80 by satellite. We know the position of the ship by satellite. So you can make the discharge just on the 80, for example. That will be the best scenario, right? Assuming that Peter's suppositions are good and our suppositions and thesis are good. That's why I said that we could be much more efficient of how I did show in my presentation. Could be if we scale this, could be even less than 50 years if we have also the technology or we measured how fast this will be transformed into carbon sinking. Yes.
Are you open for a tiny suggestion, a little on the humorous side? Make
Please.
sure all your passengers, when they get on board, get a copy of Peter's book.
Oh, I love that. Oh, for sure.
And-
Be in the lounge, the library, the pre-read before you even get.
Iron. I have iron also. Eat a lot of iron.
And we'll get them to eat a lot of iron. They'll be eating red meat every night on
Red
the
meat,
ship.
yes, red meat.
Meat for dinner. What's for dinner? Steak
Thank
again.
you.
Great suggestion, Harvey. And I'm going to jump ahead to our communications director and co-author of the book, Climate Restoration. Carol?
Hey, Carol.
Thank you. Thank you. This has been great, Jen and Hugo, as always, to see you. And just let me look at you. Question, you may have covered this, but I thought you said you weren't necessarily going to add anything, but wouldn't you be adding iron to simulate whale poop
Yes.
composition?
Yes, you'll need to rebalance. I'm almost certainly. Imagine the ship does its waste treatment and then it's about to dump. Yes. So if as you test that and assay that, you would need to rebalance it for what would be natural for that part of the ocean. Yes.
Yeah, but rebalance,
Yes.
but not necessarily adding. That's what we expect not to do.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to, but the idea is not to make the ships have like iron to add to this mixture. The idea is to take the minerals from the human waste, right? From the organic waste, from the food, and for the human waste. That would be the best scenario. Yeah.
Ideally, you'd be taking what's about to be dumped, but because it's been reformulated and encapsulated with it now acts differently. Instead of sinking right to the bottom of the ocean and doing no good, it actually does something positive for the ocean.
Yes.
That would be the best of all worlds.
So we stay in the waste management area.
Yeah, of course.
That's the most important.
Very great. Okay. I want to be able to get to all these questions. And we have probably 8 to 10 minutes. So Ray.
First of all, thank you for your presentation. Very informative. My question is, in the current cruise ship industry, has Positive Polar or anybody else that you know of done an estimation of how many tons of iron content is being dumped into the ocean now by the cruise ship industry per year?
Yeah, no. We will have to kind of.
I think what's interesting. So here's it's a great question. I will not give you the most direct answer because I don't know the calculation of how much iron is in it yet. But about 1,000 tons of food waste are dumped per week. About 250,000 gallons of sewage per week. But what is the composition of that with regard to iron? That's what we have to actually assay, and there's no publications on that.
Excellent question.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Great. Jerry.
Okay. Yeah, this is not often we get a conversation that's both scatological and ironic. So, quick questions here. One of them is, I think you said you're forecasting to be able to remove 2 gigatons of CO2 per year, but the slide said 2 megatons, so I wasn't sure which was the correct one. And second part of the question is like, how, maybe this is up to really the Peter's part of the research, is how long you expect it to be sequestered for?
Yeah, we have some calculation of the normal phytoplankton sink. So we have make the comparison of a ship always dropping this waste, and if a ship always drop this waste with as we want, that will be 2 megatons per ship per year, sailing 240 days. Okay, it's 2,000 tons of metric tons, right? So if we scale this, because that will be only one ship, so if we scale this to the whole merchant fleet, to 1/3 of the merchant fleet, we could sink as 64 gigatons, because there's 110,000 ships sailing around. So with 32,000 ships, we could scale into these numbers. That's the good thing, that we are using platforms that are already sailing, and we are solving to them a problem. We are not building additional infrastructure or assets. We are using the same assets. So that is what we expect. Obviously, it has to be measured. Could be less, could be more. If we use, for example, the 80s, could be more. We don't know. Could be less, because maybe the amount that will be useful will be much less. But the important thing is that we are using already platforms that are sailing there, where we need to put the nutrients that is the ocean. I don't know if I did answer the question.
I think so. There was a factor of the number of ships in there. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank
Cool.
you.
Great. Okay, Larry.
Hi. I'm interested in knowing a little bit about the mechanism for this encapsulation that you're planning to do, and what sort of apparatus you're planning to implement, and the approximate cost thereof for each of the ships.
Well, it's a little early for all of that. I'm certainly happy to share with the leaders of this call if they want to share a very interesting paper that was published in Nature just a couple of years ago on engineered nanoparticles as a delivery mechanism for ocean fertilization. So our approach, though, is currently in development at Moffitt Cancer Center under IP. And I've seen and am directly working with the bioengineer on that, because it has other use cases for cancer and other reasons. But it also turns out it's going to be really helpful for this purpose in the ocean. So I'm very excited. So stay tuned. Can't wait when we can reveal this. But currently, we're not sharing any more about the chemistry. We haven't locked up all the IP yet.
Great.
And then we got to take it to the lab and see if it actually works. But the idea is to keep the cost, again, extremely low, because if the assay and then using the centrifuge and the nanoparticle creation mechanism that I've seen in the lab so far, which looks very efficient, but we have to actually make sure it actually does work on a ship reliably and cheaply, and this will be really critical to the future work.
So you have actually produced some of the encapsulated materials already in the lab, and you know it's possible.
Yes, but we haven't done it in this context for this use case of ocean fertilization. But yes, we are creating these things now and developing the critical.
And what sort of media are phytoplankton currently grown in? Is it like a small fermentation device, or what is it?
Oh, that's a great question for my scientist. I'm sorry, I don't have that detail in front of me. Might be in my detailed presentation.
I can look it up.
Yeah, no, I'm sure I have it somewhere. Thank you.
Oh,
thanks for your answers.
Thank you.
Hi, thanks very much for a wonderful presentation. I'm just on the border of this whole topic or the whole restoration thing. I guess I just put a thought or a question about leverage. And I'm thinking, what businesses, and I sort of what Hugo was just saying, if you could actually serve the cruise ships or all ships savings in their waste management processes, then obviously they'd be on board, pun intended. I guess the other in terms of leverage, the other thought is broadly, are there waste management companies that's their business? Could they help fund or leverage or look for a simpatico relationship, or the fertilizer industry or big pharma? Or and what about universities and Scripps Institute that study ocean chemistry? So I'm sure there's many others, but that's my general question slash comment. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. The licensing opportunity, again, it takes a little time to show that proof of concept. So first, very great point about the marine waste treatment systems. I look forward to going to Varsilla, PowerNot, and some of the major players and showing them what we have when we've developed the proof of concept in the lab, and see how they might want to participate in funding further prototype development, et cetera, because they're the ones that would actually be implementing it on the ships, right? They're already on the ships selling those maintenance contracts. We would just be giving them something more to sell. And in that case, they would license tech from us, and that could be worth hundreds of millions of dollars to Positive Polar. And it's worth billions to them. So it's a really huge market out there just on the ship marine waste treatment systems. It's nearly 40 billion. So it's a huge market out there, and it's an important one in terms of its impact on the ocean. So let's hope, cross fingers, we can do this in the most efficient way, because I do believe it's going to be very attractive to the marine waste companies, as well as the cruise ships themselves, and the merchant ships as well.
Yeah, but I also want to add that that's why we need to develop our own prototype in our own ship, because we know that these companies are very conservative. We know that, so we have to give it
to show them it really works.
Really take it, right?
They won't take any risk.
Yeah, they will take any risk. So we have to. The only one that is taking risks are our investors, and with thanks to them, because they have believed in us. Yeah. So thank you. But yeah, the normal companies, they want everything ready, and we are going to deliver them everything ready. That's our goal. Yeah.
So let's thank Hugo and Jen.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. Keep us in your thoughts and prayers.
Wow.
And sign up for our newsletter. I try to get something out every month or 6 weeks and give people a little update. So feel free to go to Positive Polar.
Yeah,
sign up on the newsletter.
Please go to our website.
Kind of follow the progress along.
Yes.
Be really
support us if you want. Yeah.
At positivepolar.org, or what's your website?
.com, positivepolar.com.
Positivepolar.com.
We're a for-profit company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now in our last minute, we are going to host a one-day conference at EarthX, and Hugo and Jen will be speakers at that one-day conference in Dallas. So I'd like Marcus to give us the short and skinny on it, and then we want Alan to say something, and then we will end the day. Marcus, are you there?
I am indeed. All right. Well, first off, Mark, do you have the associated links, or am I going to put those in the chat?
For the EarthX, I can put that in the chat. I have the
Okie doke.
A link to the site, right?
Well, in Dallas on April the 21st, there is the globe's second largest Earth Day event, climate-related event whatsoever. It's happening at the Hilton Anatole. And if you get a ticket, we're working to get you the early bird rates right now because they got us the promotional materials late. But if you get a ticket and we get the early bird rates, they will adjust your ticket. But there will be a lot of dynamic speakers, Dr. Bonilla and Captain Heinrichsen being two of them. They are going to be speaking and presenting not just climate restoration, but climate restoration in action. This year, we're going to be hearing about people who are either doing things or on the cusp of doing stuff. It's not just in the books anymore. It's not just on the chalkboard. We are restoring the climate, and your ticket gets you access to all 3 days of this event. Now, you will have to take care of lodging, but we do get a discounted rate of, what was it, Mark, 229 or something like that a day?
231.
231 a day.
So
and with double rooms, yeah. So that's the accommodations. It's a fantastic hotel. Every night, the guy that owns the hotel who's throwing this thing has a shindig at his house. To get to his house, you go through a bamboo grove, over a bridge. I'm not joking. And then you're on this palatial estate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So we'd really like you to be there. And in the 3 days that we're there, we'll get to tell a lot of other people about climate restoration. It's a climate focused conference, but a lot of people are just focused on net zero. And this enables us to spread our message, increase the number of people on the mailing list, maybe get some more donations, liven this crew up a bit. I'd like to see you there. Deep Green Solutions will be presenting. We're the guys who took over the buoy project from the Climate Restoration Alliance. We have a couple experiments you'll get to see the results of. There's going to be a lot of time to interface, to talk, to make friends, and hang out. And also, I live in Dallas now, so if you
Oh,
come, maybe I'll make you something to eat. I cook way too much. I'm the oldest of 8 kids. I can't stop, so it's
Marcus,
fun.
would you put your email in the chat so people who have questions about,
I
well,
sure
should I
will.
go, shouldn't I go? The registration for the whole 3 days is $500. We're pretty sure we can continue to have the early bird special, even though the early bird, it's only 6 weeks away, April 21st, 2nd, and 3rd. So now, Alan, you wanted to say something, Alan, the head of the board of the Foundation for Climate Restoration.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hugo and Jen. It's really a pleasure to have you on our journey for climate restoration and the work you're doing. Thank you so much for what you're doing. If you enjoyed this, and we have more of these on the horizon, we also, the foundation is working diligently on social media and other things. We'd like to ask you to consider investing in our work by going to our website, which is very simple. The letter F, the number 4, the letter C, the number R.org, F4CR.org. Oh, there it is in the chat. So great. Please go there. There's a donate button. You can hit the donate button. And we encourage you to become a monthly donor, if you will, in any amount that you'd like, or you can make a one-time donation. But monthly donors obviously help us plan out our activities, and there's a lot on the horizon. We want to keep this series going. We want to keep our social media going. And we are a very lean organization, all volunteers except for one employee. So we could use your support in our work. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Alan. And back to you to close us out, Mark.
Oh, right. Hello, everybody. It's really been great having this. And I hope that we can get a hold of your slides or some of the data that you presented to us here. I'll ask you about that later, and I can include that in our follow-up letter if you make that available to us, Hugo and Jen.
yes, we will do it. Yeah.
We like to close each of our meetings with a quote of the week. And this one just kind of popped out of some of the work that we've been doing in our task forces, creating our action plans for the year. And it seems very obvious, but it also just seemed to fit. And the quote is, "The planet needs us and we need the planet."
Here, here.
Here.
Thank you, everyone. Jen, Hugo, thank you so much. See you in
Thanks
April.
to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks to you. Go to our website.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye,
This was
everyone. Thank
wonderful,
you.
very
Have a good
informative.
day. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Oh, wow.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.